Welcome to the 109th edition of Make Pro Wrestling Majestic again. I am your Majestic Champion, still Tiger Height.
And I'm not your Majestic Champion, Peanut Gallery.
So, we are 2 pay-per-views, our segments, and a new match, special presentation. So let's get into Forbidden Door. I'm going to give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a thumbs up. Mm-hmm. Out of all the, out of the shows that we've seen with Forbidden Door, compared to last year, this year was definitely better.
Yeah, it was.
But it still just felt kind of...
It had better matches.
Yep, I think it did too. But let's go into our first match for the AEW World Champion, MJF.
I was surprised this was the opening match.
Mm-hmm, exactly. MJF, Hiroshi, Tanahashi. It was a fun opener. Mm-hmm. It was a fun match in general. It does get a thumbs up, but, I'm going to get on my soapbox and really talk about this later, but I'm going to at least mention it. The world champion should never be the curtain jerker, ever. Period. End of discussion.
Yeah, well, that just goes to show how valuable the AEW world title seems.
It really doesn't seem that valuable.
Right.
You had the Fatal 4-Way match, a good match, but once again, why?
Right.
And then this, where you're curtain jerking. It's like, what the hell are we doing here?
My theory is that NJPW was pulling the strings with this show. That's why it was better, because
Tony Khan couldn't get his snubby little fingers into it.
Right. So you got Gato really pulling up all the stops here. And I wonder how many of these matches were produced by New Japan guys too.
Right. That's another thing. And I think you and I even contemplated, we're like, this just did not feel like a regular AEW
No, this is
show.
not. This is not AEW on the reg. This was done by professionals.
How? That was mean. So it was the diamond ring shot for MJF to retain. Like I said,
Obvious.
Thumbs up. I liked the match. CM Punk versus Satoshi Kojima in a Owen Hart Foundation tournament quarterfinals match.
Why would they have this kind of match on?
I don't know.
Pay-per-view show.
I don't know.
It's kind of weird.
But this match was better than it had any right to be. It was a much better match than I expected.
Again, who's producing this?
Right, but Satoshi Kojima's been wrestling since the mid-'80s, and he really kept up. I was very surprised on how he really managed to keep up. I think he looked better in some parts than CM Punk did, and CM Punk is younger.
Yeah.
I thought they actually constructed a fun match. If any match, this should have been the curtain jerker match.
Right.
But CM Punk was not liked in Canada. They were in Canada, yes. They were in Canada. CM Punk was not liked. It's just goes to show that he's really only popular in one place.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But he's still going. He's still doing his stuff.
Yep.
And, he's 44.
He's running the shit.
He's on his spring chicken, but he's still pulling out competent matches. And it was a GTS for CM Punk to win. And like I said, thumbs up. Mm-hmm. Good match overall. And there's not really anything I can do to make this majestic again because it's a tournament match.
Right.
Same thing with the other one. It's hard to make this majestic again because...
It's a crossover show.
Okay. This one had a little more build into it, and I'm okay with that. But once again, why just... Orange Cassidy's been defending this champion a bunch of times.
I know. I'm kind of getting sick of it.
Yeah, I am too. It was Orange Cassidy defending the international champion against Katsuyori Shibata, Daniel Garcia, and Zack Sabre Jr.
It's why?
It was a good match.
Oh,
I liked the match. I thought,
but it's just why have this match?
Right, exactly.
When you know Orange Cassidy's probably going to win anyways.
Right, exactly. Because they really like Orange Cassidy for some reason. The guy does not have the popularity that he did in 2019.
Yeah, no, that kind of died out.
It just doesn't.
Also, him defending the title all the time, I'm pretty sick of it, quite frankly.
It devalues the title. Right. I'm sorry. If you see the champion defending the title all the time, there's no point in number one contenders. There's no point in any sort of opportunity to fight to get the opportunity. Mm-hmm. The less the title is defended, the more valuable it becomes.
Now, there can be short bursts of a lot of title defenses, like what WWE is doing right now with the World Heavyweight Champion,
because they're reintroducing the prestige of the title.
And then when John Cena goes and defends when he won the United States Champion many years ago, and then decides to defend it every week, that made sense though because that was part of the storyline.
Also, that's the workhorse title. That's the title that's supposed to be defended more frequently.
This is also that same case, but I feel like
they're doing it too much.
Yeah, I feel like they're kind of over egging the pudding.
Oh, they did that a long time ago.
Right.
I don't know why they.
I'm not saying that. I mean, Orange Cassidy doing it at the beginning was just fine, but now you should kind of pull back on the brakes a little bit.
At least a little bit.
He's been champion for a while now. Okay, let's let him keep the.
I think he's had like
the rewards.
30 defenses now.
I know, it's so stupid.
It's crazy, but like I said, it was a good match overall. It was a crucifix pin. I thought they actually flowed really nicely, and I really like that. They did explain the rivalry like before the match itself, which I'm very happy about. It gives you context on why these people are fighting, and I'm like, okay, great. That's all I need. I'm caught up. Let's have the match. I can definitely feel it. Maybe if they had the opportunity to do it for the pure champion or even the TV champion that Zack Sabre Jr. has, but they just wanted the international champion. It's like, why? I guess because Cassidy was going to win.
Yep.
All right. So I love this because not only did SANADA trash the decision to have this championship on the line, but he trashed Jack Perry because he just got the title opportunity.
Right. It was kind of weird.
Right.
It's a weird decision.
Yep. SANADA, Jack Perry for the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion.
Why?
This should have been CM Punk. If they were going to have a match for the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion,
it should have been against CM Punk.
I think that would have been a better match too.
Yeah.
I liked the match. Like, it was a fine match, but the ending was strange because I feel like Jack Perry should have kicked out from the moonsault, but I think he got hurt.
I don't know. But anyways,
because it was kind of a weird pin, and everyone's like, oh, okay. Like the ref, SANADA, everybody just had the same reaction.
Right.
That was very strange, but it was fine.
Yeah.
Jack Perry turning heel was the best thing.
Yes.
He needed this very bad. The follow-up was not great, but at the very least...
We'll talk about the follow-up, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, it was a moonsault for SANADA to retain.
Hooray,
that should be no surprise to anybody. At least give me like a surprise,
right?
You know. All right, this was dumb in every way. Eddie Kingston, the Elites, Hangman Page, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson, and Tomohiro Ishii took on the Blackpool Combat Club, minus Bryan Danielson, Konosuke Takeshita, and Shota Umino. This was a mess.
This sounds like a mess. Sounds like a spot fest because the Young Bucks were in it.
Yeah, it was a spot fest. Now, there was a lot of energy with it, and there were parts of it that I liked. I liked the interaction with Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley.
Yeah.
I think that they set up a little bit of the a couple of other rivalries, and we didn't have Blackface sing the theme song, so that's all well and good.
Yep.
But,
this match should not have happened.
Yeah, I mean...
It was kind of a mess. If it was a 3-on-3, that would have made a little more sense, but there were just too many things going on in this match.
There were too many things. They were trying to promote too much stuff because we had the follow-up, and once again, I'll talk about that when I get on my soapbox. But there was just a way to do this right, and just a random 5-on-5. I mean, it would have been better if it was like blood or guts in something.
Right.
Or blood and guts, excuse me. Like a stipulation here. And
right.
A reason why all these people are wrestling probably would have worked a lot better for me, but one of the big people, Kenny Omega, was not in this match, and I think that hurt the match more than anything.
Well, yeah, because Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks were just kind of a thing. They're an item.
Well, and Hangman Page is there too, but Konosuke turned heel and associated with Blackpool Combat Club when he attacked Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
Why wasn't Kenny Omega in this match? It probably would have made more sense instead of maybe Eddie Kingston or Tomohiro Ishii.
Right.
But that's just me. Anyway, it was a brain buster on Wheeler Yuta by Tomohiro for the win. Obviously, they just don't care about Wheeler Yuta, but once again, who actually does care about Wheeler Yuta? All right. So for the AEW Women's World Champion, we have Toni Storm taking on Willow Nightingale. It was fine. That's all I can say about it. Willow Nightingale shouldn't have had this opportunity, period.
Yep. Willow Nightingale's still way too green.
She's way too green. So then why does she... the only reason she has the NJPW strong women's title is because Mercedes Moné got hurt.
Right, that's the only reason.
That's literally the only
That's
reason.
the only reason she has it.
She's popular.
Yeah.
Like, she has energy and she has potential, but she just keeps doing shit that hurts people.
Right.
It's like she's doing weird stuff, and it's like, okay, at the very least, she didn't botch.
Right.
If I have to say that it was a competent match, then maybe you're not ready for this yet.
Right. Exactly.
You know? It was a Storm 0-4, Tony Storm to win. Nothing really happened. This was a total throwaway match, and I'm going to give it a full thumbs down because it was just fine. Like, of all the matches, this one was by far the weakest.
Well, let's move on to the probably the best match of the night.
2 thumbs up, by the way. Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Champion. That Tiger Driver 91 move scared the shit out of me. Can we not do that, please? If we're comparing matches with Mitsuharu Misawa, then we're having an issue because keep in mind of what happened to him.
Right.
He died in the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
He was internally decapitated, basically. Like, his neck was so broken that he basically was cut off. Mm-hmm. Like, he was dead. So, maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe we should not do Tiger Driver 91 moves anymore where Kenny Omega lands on his head.
Right.
But other than that really scary spot, like, other than that, this was a very well-structured match.
They know how to put this match. I mean, the guys in the ring, they know how to work really well together. They've done it before, obviously.
Yeah, they had success. They had the match at Wrestle Kingdom, which was a very good match, and this one was better.
Right.
This one was better by, I would say a substantial margin, but not like it blew it out of the water. Right. You can't go wrong with these guys, and it was a stormbreaker for Will Ospreay to win the title. Yep, which
I saw that one coming from a mile away.
Yeah. I think Kenny is out the door at this point.
Yeah.
It's either that or he's hurt again.
Right.
One of those two. This was great. I couldn't do anything to make this more majestic. I thought it was actually structured very well, well-paced. People lost their minds, and
that's
minus the Tiger Driver, it would have been perfect. Anyway, for nothing, it was just a match for the sake of doing a match. I have no idea what happened with my notes there. It had a total meltdown. Anyway. Le Suzuki Gods.
No.
That's what they call their team. Versus Darby Allin, Sting, and Tetsuya Naito. Sting, retire. Jesus effing H. You were the worst part of this match.
They should replace it with another LIJ person.
You have Shingo Takagi. He was there. You have Hiromu. He was there.
I would have loved to have seen Hiromu.
Yeah. It would have been a good counterbalance to Sammy Guevara.
Right.
And we have Darby Allin too, but the match itself was just an absolute mess.
Yeah.
They just did this because they wanted Tetsuya Naito in a match. I'm like, you could have done other ways with this opportunity. Right. You could have done Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara versus Hiromu and Tetsuya, and it probably would have been better.
Probably, yeah, because Sting is just old. He's too old at this point.
And he seems confused.
Yeah.
He's wearing more clothes. It's like, look at how Sting took care of himself compared to, Suzuki.
Right.
Suzuki, I think, is older, and he's still in good shape.
Right.
It's like, God, man. And I think it's just way too many injuries. He was huge, too.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just a mess. It was a messy match. It was a roll-up, too, for the win. It's like, come on.
And this is the penultimate main event?
Yep. Thumbs down. I would have put the women's title match here.
Right.
There's something else instead of that. Okay. I'm not going to... This is not a criticism. This was a good match.
It was.
But it should have been a great match.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Now,
but considering the fact that
Bryan Danielson broke his arm
in the middle of the match and still put on a 10-minute clinic.
Yeah, I'm giving him a lot of leeway because that was a freak accident.
Yeah,
obviously it was Bryan Danielson and Kazuchika Okada. This had to have been the main event.
Oh yeah, there was no other match that should have been. Well, maybe Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, but this one was shoo-in for the main event, and they put on a great match.
Dream match is thrown around a lot. This was a dream match.
Yeah, it was, and they did it, and they only have to do it once, and that's it, and they shouldn't do it again. Maybe at Wrestle Kingdom.
I hope they don't do it again.
Right.
I don't want them to do it again.
Right.
I want Bryan Danielson to face somebody else at Wrestle Kingdom.
Right.
Have him face Will Ospreay for the U.S. title at Wrestle Kingdom. That would have been fine.
Yeah.
But it's just like with Okada, with Okada and Danielson, this has to be that once-in-a-lifetime match. Just like what they should have done with John Cena and The Rock at WrestleMania. That should have been one and done. Or what they did with Hulk Hogan and The Rock. One and done. But it was a great match.
Yep.
It should have been better, but I think with the arm break, I'm going to give them a lot of leeway on that. Because how can you wrestle at peak performance when literally your arm is snapped in two? It's like, oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
It's probably not.
Anyways, Danielson's going to be out for a while.
It was a modified ring of Saturn for Danielson to actually win.
Yeah.
Also, the final countdown thing was very good. I really liked that. It was just not that classic that it should have been. But due to outside circumstances, I'm not going to...
or I guess inside circumstances.
Yeah.
Literally inside Bryan Danielson's body.
It just got snapped. So that was Forbidden Door. They did a much better go around this time around than the first one. But the first one's always not going to be the best. Well, except for like movies and some video games. But they did a lot better with this. I thought structurally it was better, and they promoted a lot more around it.
They did.
That's what I really liked. It's like anybody can jump in there and say, okay, I saw some promo for it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why it did as well as it did at the box office. Yeah. So, all well and good. Now, so when we come back, Peanut Gallery, what are we talking about?
Well, we're going to talk about the Money in the Bank winners.
Yay!